Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Dave Chappelle, John Mayer, Jeff Ross, and Jimmy Kimmel came together to honor Bob Saget Wednesday in support of a cause Saget had been part of for 30 years. They hosted the Scleroderma Research Foundation's annual fundraising event, Cool Comedy, Hot Cuisine. This was in Beverly Hills. In the spirit of Bob Saget's humor, Kimmel kicked off the night saying, "These bookings have really improved vastly since Bob passed away. Bill Burr, Rosie O'Donnell, Kathy Griffin, Chappelle among the stand-ups on hand." Jeff Ross said, "I'm going to try and keep this as festive as possible. Everybody should have a friend like Bob Saget. Tonight's a tribute, but it's also a celebration that we all got to know the guy, that he got to have this influence on our lives. You didn't really know Bob until you saw him host a scleroderma research dinner. That was the true Bob Saget. He was emotional. He was the most sincere I've ever seen him on stage, other than when he's acting on Broadway or something." For Dave Chappelle's set, he did a lot of his current stand-up material, including documenting his own onstage attack at the Hollywood Bowl in May. Chappelle convinced Bill Burr to join him on stage, and the two riffed on each other's jokes. Chappelle had a drink on stage in honor of Saget and played a video message for the crowd that Saget had sent Chappelle just months before his death, where Saget expressed his love and appreciation for his friend. Dave said, "What a fantastic human being." Chappelle said he would now continue to do Saget favors forever, and though he joked throughout his set how he felt he was bombing, he noted it was an honor to be there. TMZ ran into Tiffany Haddish at LAX airport, as one does. Tiffany said, "I lost everything. All my gigs are gone." She was asked if the dismissal of the lawsuit would change things, and she said, "I don't know. I don't have no job." In a separate video, Haddish told TMZ that she's relieved that the lawsuit was withdrawn. She was concerned about the kids and making sure they were okay. She was asked what Ari Spears thought of the situation, and she said, "I don't talk to him." I'm psyched for this next one. This from Collider. FIFA 23, the video game, it is out a week from today. They've announced that Ted Lasso and the AFC Richmond Greyhounds will be available as playable characters in the new game. That means you'll be able to select Ted Lasso as your manager, or you can manage AFC Richmond by placing them in the Premier League or any other playable career mode league. On your team will be Roy Kent, Jamie Tart, Sam Obisanya, and Danny Rojas. That's awesome. It's doubly awesome because in FIFA 22, I made Ted Lasso and I made AFC Richmond. This saves me the work. I've been playing as AFC Richmond for a year. Welcome to the party, pal. The official Ted Lasso Twitter account shared an image of Sudeikis being digitally scanned for the game. The caption, "Look out, Mario. You're not the only pixelated man with a mustache who never knows where the tube is taking him." Sudeikis said, "I'm truly fortunate and deeply grateful to have had many special moments in my career this far, and I consider this experience among the best of them." Phil Dunster, who plays Jamie Tart, said, "Playing FIFA is genuinely the closest thing I've had to an addiction. Normally, I would play career mode with AFC Wimbledon because that's my team. Then you make your way to the top, and it's great to see Messi playing at Plough Lane. Expectations were very different from what the show turned out to be. It was mostly about the fact that I could pretend to be a professional footballer. I could tell everyone I was being paid to play football now." Quick story I wanted to share. I'm training for the marathon, and as part of the training, I'm signed up for a half marathon, and I was looking up the course, and on the website, they had last year's results. And I'm like, all right, let me see how I will do in my age group. The sad answer is in my age group, at my current pace, I'm going to finish second last on my age group. Hey, I'm slow. It's okay. So I was looking at my age group, and the number one guy was named Brian Baumgartner. And I'm like, wait, is that Kevin from The Office? And I looked at the dude's time, and I'm like, am I going to get smoked by over an hour by Kevin from The Office? Then I started writing my own roast going, and we thought Kevin was slow. Fortunately for me, I did some more research, and the Brian Baumgartner who's going to crush me in this half marathon spells his name differently. It's not Kevin from The Office. Whew. Today's Daily Comedy News is brought to you by The Shows We Watch. That's the new podcast where they talk about TV shows for like half an hour. It is comfort food on your ears. James King and Emily Johnston take us back to hang out with the best TV shows of all time, and you learn some nuggets that might surprise you. What are the shows? Sex and the City, Beavis and Butthead, Friends, Gossip Girl, new shows every Tuesday. This week's episode is about Mad About You. I was listening to that yesterday at my kid's soccer game. I can multitask. The Shows We Watch, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, it's time for one of my favorite things to do. Pretend we're at the Toronto Comedy Festival. Who's playing tonight? Who would we go see? The 7 o'clock shows, Neil Brennan, Amy Schumer, Amanda Seales, Kurt Braunohler, Megan Statler, Trixie and Katya. Andrew Barr is at 7:30. I'm not familiar with Andrew. Let's see who Andrew is. Andrew Barr is an old man trapped in a tiny young man's body. A unique combination of grumpy and silly. He's delighted. Audiences nationwide. Never one to shy away from a topic, blah, blah, blah. I kind of want to do that. I know you're like, aren't we going to go see Amy Schumer? I mean, if you want to go see Amy Schumer, totally get it. I feel like I have a handle on what Amy Schumer does, and I'm always interested at these festivals at seeing people that I'm not familiar with. So I'm going to go see Andrew Barr at 7:30. Let's see the 9 o'clock shows. Bob the Drag Queen, Kurt Braunohler, Marita Lopez, Todd Barry, Absolute Comedy. So let's do Absolute Comedy so that we're not duplicating things that we're seeing on other nights. 10 o'clock shows. Mission Totally Possible. I like that title. What is this? Buckle up and prepare for the second city's wildest adventure in laughter ever. Mission Totally Possible is a high-octane, interactive exploration of all things not just possible, but probable. From finally finding confidence to the joys of parenthood to bank heists, wedding divorces, and even a giant giraffe, this show isn't afraid to press the emergency truth button on life. Yes, I'm going to that. And by going to that, I mean sitting home in the basement tonight and watching the 3 episodes of Andor that I haven't seen yet. But that sounds like a fun show. And then 11 o'clock, The Usual Suspects, The Alternative Show, Late Night Surprise. I'm always a fan of Late Night Surprise because you never know who will show up. So that's Toronto's, Just for Laughs Toronto's lineup for tonight. Vulture did their comics to watch. Laura Peak is on the list. Vulture writes, there's a certain type of comedian who coasts on rhythm, inertia, and persona. They draw analogies. That's like if. And a reflexive laugh for jokes that don't quite hold up under a microscope. Laura Peak writes comedy like she wants to put those comedians out of business. She tells mathematical jokes like, you ever walk into a Quality Inn and you're like, honestly, I would have just gone for quantity at this point. And I watched myself like a woman in a movie who's trying to forget a memory. Those jokes work on paper as well as they do on stage. In a way, Peak's comedy's a throwback. Her work shares DNA with that of Taylor Tomlinson, both in her commitment to strong punchlines and the way she speaks reverentially and critically about her upbringing. Another joke. One thing I've never tried is the stop smoking pill. It's called Chantix. 3 of the actual side effects of Chantix are hallucinations, delusions, and night terrors. Chantix. You can't smoke if you're hiding from demons in your neighbor's crawl space. Best comedy advice, worst comedy advice. Best. I was feeling down on myself, jealous of other comic successes. We've heard this before. A friend says, so another person gets something you want. What does that mean for you? Are you going to quit? I didn't think so. Just keep your head down. Worst advice. If someone acts like a goal of yours is too ambitious or they make it sound like it's going to be impossible for you to achieve, they're probably only saying it because they haven't achieved it. Don't let other people's failures and insecurities stop you from trying. That actually sounds like good advice. From the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, they caught up with Steve Bennett. He's the editor of Chortle, who talked about what's going on over in the UK. The Queen died. I don't know if you heard about that. And he said, it's odd over here at the moment because so much comedy has been put on hold. An example of that was comedian Mark Watson. He was on tour in the town of Kettering. He had a sold-out show booked at the Kettering Arts Center that night. When they all heard the Queen died, the center canceled the show because the Arts Center is also a church that would need to serve as a place of consolation for the grieving. Instead of leaving town, Watson posted on Twitter that fans could meet him outside where he'd do a set in a public square. He wrote, venue's decision rather than mine. I respect it, but it's disappointing. And I already have my train tickets. I'll be outside the venue at 7:30 for a free unofficial gig. He wound up doing 90 minutes. London comedian Alexandra Haddo had a different experience, and she wrote, 350 pounds, potentially lost because of 2 jobs being postponed. Cool. God save the king and my bills, I guess. Gina Yashir in the LA Times said, while I have sympathy for her family and everyone who loved her and am respectful of her passing, at the same time, she was the head of an institution which has been responsible for the theft of people, land, and natural resources, as well as colonization and the genocide of millions of people around the globe, including the country of my parents' birth. So am I grieving? No. My families are from Benin City, Nigeria. I'm still waiting for the return of our stolen artifacts. Sounds like Gina Yashir would not enjoy Palace Intrigue. That's the show about the royal family that I'm the writer on. You can get Palace Intrigue wherever you get your shows. All right, for daily comedy news, normal episodes this weekend. They're already recorded. And if you're a premium subscriber on Apple Podcasts, just $5 a month. First month is free if you want to try it. You get the episodes ad-free and early. So the premium crowd, they already have the weekend episodes. They're like, heard that already. Thank you so much if you are a premium subscriber. I saw a bunch of people signed up. I don't get like names out of Apple, so I can't thank you personally. But if you are a premium subscriber, I will thank you generally, I guess. That didn't come out right. That's your comedy news for today. See you tomorrow.